G'day people and welcome, I'm Sharon. Today I'm putting the embroidery unit on my friend Valma's Skyline S9, which is a Janome machine. It is also known as the Atelier 9 in the UK. There are a bunch of other machines that have the same kind of embroidery unit, and it is attached the same way, and you need to do the same things. So let's get started at putting an embroidery unit onto one of these Janome or Elna machines. At the back of the machine here, it just pulls off to the left, and that's covering up all the things that go where the embroidery arm attaches. On the end of the embroidery arm that will be at your right side when you're standing in front of the machine is this piece, and you can perhaps see that that is actually releasing the arm out the back. At the other end is this piece, which is used for detaching the embroidery arm from the back of the machine. To put it on, I need to match up the black dot on the embroidery arm with the black dot on the machine, put them together, and then push the whole thing towards the end of the machine that has got the power switch on it. To get it off, I would use the button that I just showed you on the needle end of the machine, the white button. Depress that in and at the same time move off to the left. So that's how you get it off and on, matching up the dots and then pushing it, and you need to make sure that at the other end, when it's completely on there, this end will be flat. You need to have the power turned off, both to put that unit on and to take it off. Also, if you're planning to do embroidery and you want to open the arm, do that while the machine is turned off. You are able to leave that entire unit attached to your machine even when you are not doing embroidery. So just in regular sewing, you can leave it there. If you've got space for it, leave it there, but fold the arm back in. The arm is actually used in ordinary sewing to have a fabric guide which moves over towards your needle, and it allows you to stitch decorative stitches and so on that are parallel to a straight edge. My machine is not turned on at the moment. I'm going to open the embroidery arm. So I depress the white button on the right and then open the arm out. There is space behind that. It will be moving left, right. There is plenty of space for the machine to do that. As long as you have sufficient space behind for that unit to move left and right, then everything will be okay. It doesn't go out any further than that, but you do need to allow it the room to go left and right. Definitely do not ever want to hear the noises that your machine will make if it runs into something when it's trying to move left and right. I need to change this to the embroidery plate. Your machine came with 2 needle plates. One has got 3 holes in it, the other has 1 large hole. When you're doing ordinary sewing and you need to do things with zigzag and decorative stitches, you need the big hole. That's what allows the machine to do the big stitching. This one that has 3 holes in it is what we use for quilting, presuming you're doing straight quilting or free motion quilting. It is also the one you use for embroidery. To get this one off, I move this to the left and then depress the button here. With the machine on, and I'm going to turn it on just so you get an idea of what happens, I'm going to lock the machine before I do this. So it's locked. The needles, I in fact don't even have a needle in it at the moment because I'm going to change the needle. I press that down and up it comes. The machine gave me a warning to say that the needle plate had been ejected. While we're in this position, I want to show you something you need to do periodically with your machine. If you look between the feed dogs on the machine, there is a build-up of lint. and it needs to be removed. And there is the little pile of lint that I've just got out from between the feed dogs. If you do a lot of sewing with your machine with linty fabrics, and by that I mean things like fleecy, or if you are doing a lot of quilting where you have a batting inside the quilt, then eventually that lint in there stops the feed dogs from coming up and moving your fabric along. It just needs to be cleaned out periodically. I also want to take out the bobbin case, not because I'm going to change it. In this case I'm going to leave it in because I am going to use Janome bobbin fill, but I want to see if there's much mess underneath. This bobbin case has actually had a needle punch into it there. There's a little bit of damage. It's obviously still functioning. There's another little bit of damage. The places that it is hardest to get a good stitch out of and not have the thread breaking all the time with these sorts of things are around the edge. And this one is actually pretty good around the edge. I'm not seeing too much damage, if any at all, underneath. So there are some bits of damage, but the machine is functioning with them. You may find that eventually you get too much damage, it will stop working. There's even a needle punch hole right in there. To clean up inside here, get a piece of soft cloth and wind around inside. Often when I've got that piece of fabric over my finger and in the bobbin case area, I will wind the machine backwards on the flywheel. I do not wind it forwards because then the hook can come through and stab me in the finger, and I'd rather it didn't do that. In the centre there is a little piece of felt. Do not pull it out. It is an oil wick, so I'm going to put a drop of oil into the machine there to be absorbed into that oil wick. If the drop gets absorbed very, very quickly, as this one was, put an extra one in. Definitely no more than 1 or 2 drops. I use a pharmaceutical grade white oil. It's the same sort of thing that gets used for shavers. And definitely do not use anything yellow, and please don't put any food oil into your machine. To put things back together, the bobbin case goes in top first, and it should move very slightly but not wobbling all over the place. It can't move all the way around, it's just a little bit of play in there. I'm going to insert the embroidery needle plate. The lugs on the end go under at the right, in, and press down on the target quite firmly. The machine is just now telling me that the straight stitching needle plate is set. Please make sure the proper presser foot is attached. I'm going to be using this one, and in fact I'm going to unlock the machine so that the arm comes up. Put this on and tighten it with a screwdriver. I am going to insert a blue tip needle, which is the right one to be using for embroidery. You can have either a blue tip or a red tip. The size is what changes. So an 11 is the blue tip. I think the red tip is a 14, so that's for thicker fabrics. You can use regular needles for embroidery. Remember to change your needles on a regular basis. They only last about 8 to 10 hours of sewing time. That's not time sitting in the machine, that's actual sewing time. Push the needle all the way up. The flat bit of the needle goes to the back and the groove comes down the front. Tighten it with a screwdriver. You don't want it falling out when you're partway through your embroidery. So I'm going to replace this now. Tell the machine to go into embroidery mode, and we'll check. I've got the proper presser foot. Okay. And the machine has now moved to the appropriate position to start doing embroidery. We have got the embroidery unit attached. We have got the right needle plate in, we have clean things underneath, and we've got a fresh needle all ready to go. Hope you've learned something about your machine today, and I shall see you maybe over there. See you next time.